Influencers are returning back to the 9 to 5 world. Before we get into the clips, let me give you my understanding. Again, like I said, I've been doing this content creation thing, I guess you could say part time for like about 6 months now. Recently monetized, and I do work full time. Again, let me tell you why a lot of these influencers are going back to the 9 to 5, and I'm gonna let you know the money with this content creation, especially if you're relying solely on like AdSense, is inconsistent. Again, you cannot base the way you pay real bills on a algorithm. Like I said, an algorithm you have no control. There's really no rhyme or reason. Yes, there's little certain things you can figure out about the algorithm, but ultimately, depending upon how you pay real bills like rent, mortgage, car notes, if you have children, the many expenses that comes with that, depending upon the algorithm is very, very dangerous. That's what they're not telling you. Again, then this doesn't, mm, this does not just go for content creation. It also goes for those gig apps like Uber Eats, Lyft. All those things are dependent upon an algorithm. And like I said, depending upon how you pay your bills on basically, some type of computer, is not smart at all. It literally drive you crazy. Again, like I said, now if you're living at home, you're a younger person, still at home, you have no real responsibilities or bills, then great. You could probably live on it full time. But for, an adult with the real bills, I totally would be against it 100%. But let's get into the clips.
Yes, I make more money doing influencer work. No, I'm not quitting my 9 to 5, and here's why. Aside from benefits and all the other good stuff that comes with having a job, influencer work is so inconsistent, and I need my money guaranteed. I feel like so many people around me feel like you've only reached your influencer peak once you're able to become a full-time content creator and quit your job. But for me, I truly felt like I reached my peak once I realized that I could just use my money I make from my 9 to 5 to pay my bills and throw all of my influencer money in the bank. That's what feels like my peak, my luxury. And I know everyone's financial situation isn't the same, but do you know how many influencer girls I watched on here say, I just moved across the country and then I lost my partnership. I don't know how I'm going to sustain. Or they come on here and they talk about how they just got dropped from a campaign and they don't know how they're going to make next month's rent. Living outside of your means and chasing the full-time content creator influencer lifestyle too soon will have you on your ass. Again, I'm sure there are many women who have had success with quitting their jobs and focusing full-time on content creation. However, let's just, bring it back to reality a little bit. That doesn't happen for everyone, and it doesn't have to happen so soon. It's definitely not something I recommend aiming for in your first year or two.
Again, very solid advice. Again, like I said, I'm sure there are some full time content creators who quit their job and things went well, but that's the exception and not the rule. Again, like I said, it's much smarter, especially in the beginning, to keep your 9 to 5. You have benefits. Obviously, you have paid time off. You have some type of 401k, 403bs. A lot of companies have matches. There's a lot of things that come with working a 9 to 5 or a career that don't come with content creation. And again, to be solely dependent upon an algorithm or a partnership or affiliate links, like I said, those things come and go. Again, like I said, it's best to have a hybrid approach when it comes to this content creation. Do it part time, and like I said, have your full time 9 to 5 that pays your bills, and then you can use this content creation money for either, like I said, luxuries, vacations, or just to stack up. And then, like I said, you wouldn't be in a situation where they're saying what, June 19th, I believe, TikTok is supposed to be, getting banned in the USA. Just think about all those content creators who've, been living off that for the past several years. That may be coming to an end.
Hey y'all, my name is Tiffany, and for the past 3.5 years, I have been a full-time content creator and entrepreneur. And I just started my first 9 to 5 job after 3.5 years last week. This economy is not conducive to having one source of income. And I was not about to let the aesthetics and the image of, oh, I'm a full-time content creator slash entrepreneur, put me in debt. So I decided that it was time to get back to a 9 to 5. Thankfully, my job is hybrid. So I work remote 99% of the time, and I go into the office when I have meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good in that aspect. And also, my company is a nonprofit, so it's not as competitive as like a for-profit organization.
Again, like I said, just imagine over those 3.5 years while she was doing content creation, she kept her full-time job. Just think about how much further ahead she would have been. 3.5 years of content creation money. She works for a nonprofit, so she probably has a 403B. If that company has some type of match, she literally could have been funneling that money from the content creation to max out her 403B. Like I said, using the content creation money to pay her bills, and she could have upped her contribution to her retirement fund. Like I said, you gotta be strategic and smart with this content creation and how you do it.
I'm thankful that I joined a really strong team and a really supportive team. But y'all, it is not easy having to, rearrange your schedule and just rearrange your life. Going back to work after 3.5 years of working for yourself and making your own schedule, making your own money, it's it's different. I will say though that I'm thankful to have like stability. So I have stable income now, and I'll know what to expect in my bank account every 2 weeks, as opposed to like having to hustle every single minute of every single day. It's like I work 9 to 5 now, and I also, of course, still create content, and I still have my business, but it's not going to be so much pressure on me like, oh, I got to do this so I can pay my bills, or I got.
Exactly. And that's a lot of times you see these content creators and they start moving so erratically. And that's because a lot of times they're desperate for views, they're desperate for content, and ultimately they're doing it to get a check. More views, more eyeballs on your page is going to equal more money. So a lot of times when all you have is content creation to pay your bills and your back is against the wall, sometimes people resort to doing desperate things.
Do this so I can, eat. It's less of that and more of like the fun of why I started my business and why I started creating content. I will say though, your girl is tired. I'm literally tired. Like this morning, I had to be in, well, not our office. We went to a different location to have a team meeting at 10 a.m. And that was from 10 to 12. And then I came right back home, and I was like 40 minutes away from there. And I got home like 1 something, so I really didn't have time to eat. And I hopped on another call for an hour. Then I got on another call after that for an hour. And then I got on another call right after that. So like I've had just like a back-to-back nonstop day. So if you've gone back to work recently and you can relate, then make sure you follow me, because I'm going to be posting a lot more tips and tricks and just updates along the way.
Again, I mean, I don't know what she described at the end sound like a normal work day. I mean, she didn't have to go into a team meeting till 10 a.m. She was there for 2 hours, then 40 minutes back home, and then had 3 meetings. Sound like a pretty light day, but again, like I said, I guess you're a content creator full time, and you just, have to post 1 or 2 videos or 1 or 2 shorts a day. I guess any type of 9 to 5 work would be considered strenuous and I guess have you tired.
Keep seeing this everywhere on TikTok, talking about how influencers are not being sustained by social media anymore and how they're going back to a regular 9 to 5 position. And let me just say, okay, let me not be that person, but like also a little bit of that person. I'm low-key kind of happy that this is happening. And I don't mean it to like prey on their downfall, but like a little bit at the same time. Because honestly, I don't think that being a full-time influencer should have ever been a real position. I don't think we should be.
I think a lot of people probably agree with her sentiment. See, the issue that I think a lot of people have with content creators is when they try to rub it in. regular working class people faces that when they think they're above the regular working class people, like, oh, why do you have a 9 to 5 and you need to be your own boss and all this nonsense, when in reality, it's not realistic or practical for everyone to have their own businesses. Not to mention, most businesses, um, even if they have some short-term success, ultimately wind up closing down. Like I said, again, it's I always thought it was a much smarter approach to do content creation part-time and then have a full-time income. So again, like I said, you're not operating from a point of desperation when it comes to the content creation and just literally putting out anything for views.
Be giving like famous people the amount of fame and money that they have, but that's just my own personal opinion. But as somebody who has been in the workforce for a long time, since I was 17, I think was when I got my first job. I've worked over 10 jobs. Like I've been at over 10 different jobs. Over the past couple of years, I've worked all kinds of jobs. I've worked in the trucking industry doing data logistics. I've worked as a receptionist. I've worked as an administrative assistant. I've worked as a teacher. I am currently a teacher. That's my career path.
Shout out to all the teachers.
I worked at Target, Dollar Tree, Domino's, like you name it, I've worked it. So as somebody who comes from that kind of background, like low-key, I'm actually kind of happy that we're having this push towards creators who are a little bit more relatable, like to people like me, for example. Like I'm not a big creator or anything, but I've worked my whole life, and I'm sorry, I don't find it relatable when they do shopping hauls of $5,000 items at Dior. Like, what do I care? Like I want to see somebody who goes through my struggles on my For You page. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm kind of happy that this little revolution is happening.
Again, I do agree with her on the piece of content creators being more relatable. Again, like I said, the average person is not just shopping, driving around in luxury cars all day. Again, like I said, we do need to bring back more relatable content creators and content creators that's really, giving you the real, not these fantasy and fairy tale lives. And a lot of this stuff is smoke and mirrors. Again, ultimately, the reason why a lot of these content creators are going back to 9 to 5s is the money has dried up. That's really the end all be all. The partnerships are not there like they used to during the pandemic. Everything is slowing up. And like I said, they are being forced back to the 9 to 5.
Count on one hand how many times I went to an influencer event last month. I was burnt out. Hi, I'm a content creator who works a 9 to 5 and life was lifing and your girl was tired. But let this be a reminder that if you need to take a break, if you need to take a breather, if you just need to thank the brand or the agency for their time and ask them to keep you in mind for future opportunities, please do that. Please do that. I have to take a mental break, a mental vacation, because I believe so much in myself that I'm gonna make it, that saying no to a couple of opportunities now, it ain't stopping nothing.
Facts. Again, like I said, there may be a little more work doing the content creation in a 9 to 5 full time, but in the long run, you put yourself in a much better position.
I got a 9 to 5 job after I was an influencer full time. A little backstory, it was 2020. I was doing full-time influencing and I was mainly on YouTube as my platform. I was making lifestyle content, but I didn't have enough going on in my life to keep making content. I felt very stale. I felt like I had nothing that I was like working towards. My validation came in the form of if I was getting views and likes and if people liked me enough, and that is not healthy. I really hated the fact that I had to rely on algorithms for my success.
Again, like I said, she's very spot on and being very transparent in this video. Again, this is what people are not telling you. It's very tough to be dependent on an algorithm. No matter how much studying, how much research you do, you're not going to be able to ultimately outsmart an algorithm. This algorithm on these platforms probably costs tens of millions, or if not hundreds of millions of dollars invested into these algorithms. Again, like I said, you may be able to find some tips and tricks and little finesses here and there, but depending upon if you're able to pay your bills or not on an algorithm, literally, like I said, will drive you insane.
Instead of just being able to rely on myself. That was like weird. I just genuinely felt like I didn't have enough stuff to even talk about or stuff to do because I just didn't know, like, what was I even doing? I don't know. Reason number two, I would say, is like the routine of it. Having an actual job and the structure of that is just, it's actually so nice. And I do work remotely. I work from home, so I can't speak on like going into an office. I think that's a lot harder than like working a remote job, but it's just nice to have that structure to your day. Reason number three, I would say, is stability. Having that paycheck come in every 2 weeks, no matter what, having healthcare, not having to rely on social media as your main source of income is just nice in itself. And lastly, I do feel like I have gained more experience in life and honed my skills in different areas and improved my resume. We don't know how long social media is really going to last, how long this influencer economy, I mean, it is looking really good, and I still do work in the influencer field. But like, my point is I can just improve my skills and actually just get better as a human.
Again, like I said, I don't think the influencer economy is going anywhere anytime soon. I actually do think it's growing, and it is going to be a booming marketplace, especially as people go away from some of these big corporate, giants that you see on TV. I do think people will be coming to get their information from people in real life, that are on the ground and in tune what's going on in the streets. I definitely see that coming, but again, you still have to be strategic and understand, being reliant on an algorithm. Like I said, when it's good, but when it's cold, it's cold.
No, I was actually doing content creation full time. I am 24 years old. I still live with mommy and dad. What are you gonna do? If TikTok fails, like, first of all, you could be logged out at any point. This is so unstable. And I am some
Quick question. I never understood why, when these women do these TikToks, are they doing their makeup while talking, especially when it has nothing, the makeup has nothing to do with what they're talking about. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments below.
somebody who likes stability. Like, when I'm 45 or 65 or 75, what the hell am I gonna be doing? Like, when I lose relevance, like some of our favorite YouTubers have, where's the money coming from? I was going to Pilates every day. Like, I was buying whatever the heck I wanted, sleeping in. It got to a point where I was like, not only really bored, but I felt completely purposeless. I was like constantly consuming media. So I'm optimistic, but I am not unrealistic. I have like big plans for my future. There's so many reasons why having like a traditional job is beneficial. Obviously, the biggest thing is like security and a steady paycheck. I feel like I need to be doing something in the world to counteract all of this selling that I'm doing. I need to be doing something more. And now that I am working this job, I feel like I am. We are always going to be evolving. We're always going to be moving forward as a society, and I want to be part of that change. And I don't know, this is not to say that in a couple of weeks or months I won't say something completely different, but that is the beauty of life.
Again, the key takeaway from this video here is she still lives at home with her parents, which means she's not, 9 times out of 10, not paying any serious bills. But I'm glad she was smart enough and have the awareness to realize like this is really not a long-term strategy, especially only her being 24, and understanding that your relevance in social media can change at the drop of a hat. But let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you feel about these influencers having to go back to 9 to 5s? I'm telling you, ultimately, it comes down to the money. And right now, the money is just not there. I look forward to seeing your comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.